All right, we're here at the Austin Kelly Show at AZ Pod Studios, and I have a guest. He is one of the members of the format, one of the best bands to come out of Phoenix, Arizona, alongside Nate Roos, and then obviously my guest here, Sam Means. There you
Hello.
are.
Hello.
I
Here
love the
am.
button.
Oh, I just got this from my father-in-law.
You are a golden. You are
I'm
a
a
gold
good Sam.
A
Yeah,
good
it's
Sam.
good Samaritan, or a good. I don't remember what this. I think it was like a. I don't know. It was like an RV park or something.
An RV park, and you just got it because
Good
it had your
Sam's
name on
or
it?
something. I don't remember.
Yeah. So I asked you.
Fact check that, somebody.
Yeah, fact checked it. Fact check it. So I asked you, Topo Chico.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you what drink you want. And you said Topo Chico,
That's all I ever want.
and I had to look it up because I've never had it before. I'm like, oh,
That's
Topo Chico.
Shocking to me.
I know. So, but why Topo Chico?
It's well, I don't drink. I used to drink soda, like that's like bad soda, like Dr Pepper
And Pepsi and all that,
Coke,
yeah.
everything. And I gave that up a long time ago. So I started drinking just soda water.
Uh-huh.
But I need the kick. Like I need some kind of kick. So there's different levels of soda water, and Topo Chico I think is at the
Yeah. They have different flavors, I found out too.
Yeah, I just like the regular one, but it's a little dangerous too, I guess.
Yeah.
There's something about it that I guess is not exactly great for you, which is kind of a bummer.
Oh, really?
I found out. The
I figured-
carbonation
I
is,
figured
like,
you
so
just-
strong. It has something in it is not great for you. So
I figured
thing
you
you're
just
not
wanted the
sponsored by
normal
them.
one, but I also found out too they have an alcoholic one. I'm
yeah,
like,
I tried that before too. It's pretty gross. I don't
I'm like,
know.
well, it's noon. I don't think he meant the alcoholic one either. So,
Yeah, no, way too early for that.
well, funny enough, so I always ask a guest what they want to drink, and I had another noon one. This was like several months back, and I'm like, hey, so what do you want to drink? She's like, I could go for a vodka cranberry, and I just thought, oh, maybe she's joking. I'm like, oh, really? And she's like, yeah, vodka cranberry. I'm like, okay, I guess we'll get this party started early today. So.
Hey, man, that's cool.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, cheers. This will be my first time trying
I'm excited to get your reaction.
Topo Chico. I've never had this before, so I guess
I can't believe it. Don't choke. It's
I'm
an
losing my
experience.
virginity to this.
Yep.
It's not bad at all. I mean, you don't really taste anything. It's just, like you said, dangerous. Yeah.
Yes. It's the most violent of all soda waters.
Yeah. And actually, let's read the history of Topo Chico because I saw it on the
Oh,
website.
cool.
The history of Topo Chico. Because it's important to know why he got this and the history behind it. So the legend and history. Legend has it that the daughter of the emperor Moctezuma, after a great journey, drank from the crystalline waters of the spring of the Cerro del Topo Chico to feel revitalized.
I like it. And I'm seeing that graphic, I believe, on this box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you know the graphic I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, that's on the box.
The thing that sucks about Topo Chico now is I think Coca-Cola bought it.
Oh, I know, right?
It's not as cool anymore. But
Have you ever had the other flavor drinks or no?
yeah, I've had the grapefruit one and maybe a lime one. That might be all they have, but
Yeah.
yeah. I'm boring.
So we got a lot to talk about, Sam. Almost too much to talk about, but first things first, the most important question I could ever ask you, Sam. Your favorite song on the Beatles' Yellow Submarine album. I saw that you posted that last night.
Yeah, the correct answer is Hey Bulldog for anyone asking. Although there's a couple other ones. It's a debate whether or not that's even really an album because it's like
Yeah.
half score, half sort of just extras. But
Uh-huh.
Hey Bulldog's one of my favorite Beatles songs.
I think that's like what, the third or fourth track on the album?
I don't even remember. But
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think we all know the obvious answer to this, and probably a lot of people would assume Yellow Submarine.
Yeah, some people made jokes about like the March of the Blue Meanies or some of the
Yeah.
the George Martin scored tracks on there. But yeah, Hey Bulldog is my
Yeah.
jam. It's got a great bass line.
Do you have a favorite Beatles song in general?
A friend of mine, this guy Ian, we go back and forth and we just say, "Is it?" And then we insert a Beatles song. We just keep going. That's the thing. It's just trying to figure out what the best Beatles song is because it's so
Yeah.
tough. Right now, I think the consensus is Two of Us, which is on
Two of Us, I've heard of
Let
that.
It Be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. My favorite song I mean, obviously it's one of the bigger ones, Hey Jude. I feel like that's
Hey Jude's, I mean, it's classic. It's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
I've even heard this one over here do Hey Jude as a cover, and she's not listening.
She's like, huh?
You've done Hey Jude as a cover.
Just looking at the lyrics of two of us.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so like she does a really good cover of Hey Jude.
Cool.
Yeah. I want to touch base, and I just found this out recently. I don't know if this is a new endeavor or you've been working on it for a while. And forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Wave Lake?
Wave Lake. Yeah.
Wave Lake, yeah. Is this
Yeah.
a new endeavor that you just started?
It's pretty new, actually. Yeah. The 1 year anniversary was yesterday. So
Oh,
it's-
wow.
Yeah. It's very
Cool.
new.
So what's it about?
It's just a new idea for streaming music, basically. It's a place where the idea is it's just a big open library, so everyone has access to listen to it. But you can, it's through Wave Lake, you can monetize as well, and it goes directly to the artist. So, and it can these tracks can go anywhere. So you could insert this in a podcast, and if you were listening to this track from a modern podcast player, not something like Spotify or Apple,
Yeah.
you could have a wallet in that application. You could pay the artist, and it would go straight to them.
Oh, wow.
So it's a cool way. And we have an app. We have an app that we're testing right now. It's just
Yeah.
on test flight. It's not out in the app stores yet, but
Yeah.
you'll be able to do the same thing through the app. So
So people they can monetize their podcast through Wave Lake, and then artists could put their music through Wave Lake
yeah,
as well.
it
and-
started out just as music, but then there's just a way to be able to insert music into podcasts too in the RSS feed, to where everyone can kind of participate. You can split it up between multiple people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little complicated.
It's
It's a little
yeah.
nerdy. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to talk about now because it's just not simplified yet. It's still
Yeah.
very in the ultra tech phase, but
Yeah.
this year we'll be spending most of the year just trying to get it ready for.
You said it's a 1 year anniversary. How long did it take for you to launch it?
I've
in a
been trying to
sense?
get somebody to do this. Once I found out that this technology existed, I've been trying to get someone to do it since 2021, probably.
Yeah.
The very beginning of 21. And then I met up with this dude, Michael, who lives in Chicago, and he tried to build it kind of on his own, and it just wasn't really working.
Yeah.
So we ended up partnering up and just completely rebranded the whole thing and relaunched it as a totally different product.
Why the name Wave Lake?
He had just come up with that. He's
Oh.
in Chicago. There's a really big lake there. I think that was part of it. He had some story behind it, but I loved it because he had all the domains and social media accounts for it already.
Yeah.
And it was catchy and it's cool. Came up with a cool logo for it. So.
Yeah. And you have your podcast on there.
Not yet. So
Not yet.
podcasting is still in beta. We actually just launched podcasting like 3 weeks ago.
Gotcha.
I don't have my podcast on there, but I did launch a new podcast on there yesterday.
Okay.
So I have a lot of things going.
I feel like you have like a
I
whole
have a
bunch
podcast called Click Vortex on another
Yeah.
thing that we do called Wastoids, and that's somewhere else. But eventually, it'll be on Wave Lake.
So I was about to ask you about that. So the name of the podcast is Wastoids, or that's the
So
name?
Wastoids is think of it as like a production company, kind of.
Oh, I
or
was
like
trying
a
to
channel, So we make podcasts. We have multiple podcasts on Wastoids. So it's kind of like
Okay.
the hub, like a Earwolf or a Wondery or something like that. It's
Gotcha.
the company that sort of
So kind of like similar to
distributes.
this, because this is like AZ Pod Studios, but like there's multiple podcasts happening in AZ Pod.
Yeah, and we just have one, like there's a Wastoids feed and
Uh-huh.
everything goes in it. So my podcast that I do with Jason Woodbury is called Click Vortex.
Mm-hmm.
And every other Thursday that comes out. And then the Thursday in between, these two guys, Mark and John, do a show called The Spindle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a show called Hotline. And we used to have a really cool show called Claire Audience.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a channel for podcasting. Just has
That's
different
awesome.
stuff.
I heard a couple episodes. The most recent one, you guys talked about between the differences between a CD and a vinyl.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We're questioning whether or not the CDs are going to come back. I guess around.
Yeah,
As vinyl and cassettes have.
I mean, like what you said, vinyls just have that distinct sound. Like it just never gets dated, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And with the CD, you guys were talking about with the CD, it's more of like a digital type of.
yeah. It doesn't offer any sound
Yeah.
qualities that are endearing, but I guess it's the packaging. The whole package kind of makes it I don't know, maybe people are nostalgic for it.
Yeah.
Like around my age that had CDs in their
Uh-huh.
car.
Yeah, I mean, so I remember growing up as a kid, I used to have like a whole collection of CDs. I don't even know where they're at anymore.
Yeah, I do too. I was gonna try to find them before we did that show, but I could
Yeah.
only find a couple.
Yeah, I have no idea where they're at. I didn't even think about that till just now. But I have vinyl collections. I have vinyls now. Like I have maybe 30, 40 vinyls, but I don't even
Nice.
have I don't even have a record player.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty common.
So I've never even listened to this bad boy yet on a record player.
Not missing much.
Not missing much, just some dog problems going on there. But yeah, so what's the most interesting topic you guys have talked about on your podcast, whether that be through Click Vortex or
Click Vortex is fun. I mean, we just talk about that show's kind of evolved. It used to be more like we would try to find weird. It started out we would try to find connections through Wikipedia. Like I would watch this thing called Vivo at night. It's a channel that would play live music from like the 60s and 70s. And I'd be like, whatever happened to, like this random teen heartthrob from the 70s? And I'd look them up, and then 2 hours later, I would be at like Paul McCartney through this weird series of linking, through Wikipedia.
yeah.
And so that's what the show started out as, is like we start off at Paul McCartney, we end up at like Rancid. It's like, how does that even happen?
Yeah. It's kind of like a rabbit hole in a sense, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But that we sort of changed it a little bit. Now we started talking more just about topics, which just made it a little easier. It's kind of hard to. There's a lot of like prep for the show the way it used to be.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit more loose.
Was it like hours of prep before going?
Yeah, sometimes it was easier than others, but yeah, it was kind of tough because you just would have to you'd have to rely on finding something that week that was interesting enough that led down a path that you'd be able to talk about it for an hour.
Yeah. Like, for example, did Who Really Killed John Lennon, right?
Yeah, and that was one. So I can't remember if that was when we started. That was probably one of the first topics we did, which was like about sort of horrible things that happened in rock music, that type of stuff. So now we do it more topic based. Like Jason will just be like, let's just talk about CDs.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
easy. I can just
And a lot of people
think
are
of a bunch of stuff, that
Yeah.
in my life that had to do with CDs, and it's a little bit
What was
easier.
that conspiracy theory? Like, was it Stephen Hawking?
Stephen King.
Stephen King. Yeah, Stephen King.
Stephen King looks a little bit like Mark David Chapman, who's the guy who killed John Lennon. So
That's the conspiracy theory
kind of
that,
silly conspiracy theories there. Yeah.
that Stephen King killed John Lennon.
Yeah.
Do you believe in any, like, just in general, any conspiracy theories that you look up? Like,
I love conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
There are some these days that are not great. So I stay away
Especially
from those
these
ones.
days.
I like the fun ones. I like the
Yeah.
lighthearted. I like aliens. I like
Bigfoot, maybe. you
yeah.
know,
I like the fun stuff. I used to listen to a show when I was a kid, and then also into my touring days called Coast to Coast AM. It's like a late night call-in show, and truck drivers would call in and talk about like people they saw on the side of the road and then mysteriously disappeared, or like random stuff like that, or like people that live in these mountains in Northern California, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I love.
Yeah. Like for truck drivers, like if they see like a paranormal entity or something,
Sure.
maybe,
I
or
love all of that.
or run into a cult.
Yes, any of that stuff.
Yeah. That's,
I will listen to any, like, can you cuss on here?
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
listen to any batshit crazy
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
story that I can find.
Yeah. I noticed you do seem very interested in aliens, though. You even use the alien emoji, I've noticed.
Yeah, I like
Quite
aliens.
often. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like an alien, sort of. I think that's what that mostly is. But
I wonder what feeling like an alien feels like.
well, you would know. You're one too.
I mean, yeah,
We're all
I guess we're
aliens,
all
really.
We're all aliens. We're all of a different being, because like those aliens probably look at us
We're aliens to them.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I just like the imagery of a lot of alien stuff. I really liked the X-Files and Twin Peaks and weird
Yeah.
shows like that had some alien vibes. And then the Coast to Coast show, there was a lot of alien stuff going on there. So
Yeah. Do you think like that's what they look like, though? What they paint out your typical alien to look like with the, I don't know.
I think
green.
there's different kinds from what I've heard.
Yeah.
I think those are like the grays are like the big head alien.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
typical
yeah.
sort of alien.
The
and
big
then-
eyes and stuff.
Yeah, but there's I don't know. Have you ever looked in the ocean? There's lots of freaky stuff going on down there.
Yeah, that is
Those are
very
aliens
creepy.
to me.
I mean, there's like what, I forgot the percentage. There's like what, still 80 or something like 80, 90%.
Yeah,
of-
we've explored.
we don't
very
even
little.
know what's in the ocean.
Yeah.
I mean, I've even read stories about UFOs landing in the ocean. Like I don't even know what that's about, but
Hey man, I don't either. Let's find out.
let's find out. We got to dive
Let's
deep
dig in.
into a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I also notice on your social media, and I've always been curious about this, you tend to use a cigarette emoji a lot in your pictures and videos.
Yeah. I love smoking. I don't smoke anymore. I
Yeah.
quit smoking a long time ago, but I still am I romanticize smoking. I guess.
You miss it so much that you romanticize it and put like a cigarette emoji in your mouth.
Yes, I role play smoking through Instagram GIFs.
Yeah. I noticed like you'll do it on your story or even like
Any
on a-
chance I get. I
Yeah.
had a whole series for a while of cigarettes on things, but I think people were getting tired of it.
Yeah, well, I've not even on just yourself, but I would notice you'd post cigarettes on like a painting, for example, on a wall,
or small children.
or small children, or
Yeah.
something, or maybe an alien or something.
Sure, on everything I can actually.
Yeah,
Inedible, or just random objects, plants.
anything. Yeah,
Everything should be able to smoke. Mm-hmm. If it
even
wants
those
to.
dogs.
I'm sure I've put cigarettes on those things. That actually I know I have. I usually do if I'm signing one of those things. I'll put a cigarette in a dog's mouth for sure.
I know. Yeah, I mean, they need it. They need it.
Dogs need to smoke too. They lead stressful lives.
They do. Food, shitting,
Yeah,
and then walking.
it's hard to know when you're going to be able to get any of those things. when you're
Exactly.
not in
Yeah. I
control.
mean, in a sense, that is kind of true.
yeah,
Like my dog, she's like always wondering when are we going to go on. That's all she cares about is a walk.
yeah.
That's literally all she cares about.
Does she get just so excited as soon as you start busting out that leash?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Well, she's older now. She's 14, but yeah, she'll like stick out her tongue and like kind of shake her hips and her tail and stuff. But yeah, she loves it. Well, it's crazy. She's 14, and she's still like she's in great health. Like
Great.
I'll take her on hikes. Do you
What kind
know
of
where-
dog is she?
a hound dog, like a
Okay.
blue tick hound.
Cool.
Do you know where Coon Bluff is at? That's like kind of past Power and McDowell, kind of.
East side.
Yeah, east side. I'll take her there, and there's a lake there and all that. But anyways, I'll take her on a tall hill, like a mountain, and she'll outpace me at her age still.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Shout out Roxy.
My sister's dog had a dog named Roxy.
Oh, really?
No longer with us, but
Yeah.
Does your dog have a voice?
A voice?
Yeah.
Oh, like if you
Do you,
talk.
do you ever speak as your dog?
I don't even know how to answer that. I mean,
Yes or no?
I
You must.
I talk to her in like a specific voice, like. Hey.
But she doesn't ever talk back through you.
I don't even know how to answer that.
My answer would be yes. My dogs had voices.
Like
My
how
sister's
would you?
dog, well, because my sister's dog Roxy
Yeah.
wore headgear in this like mysterious, not real life, and so
Yeah.
she kind of had that like, headgear voice going on.
Headgear voice.
Yeah, kind of just like couldn't really. I feel like I shouldn't do it. I don't wanna do
I mean,
it.
I don't
I'm
even-
embarrass myself.
I don't
but
even know how to
My
answer
sister had a voice for her. My dog had a very serious voice that was just. It wasn't really a voice, but it was more of like a backstory.
Yeah.
My dog was friends with Freddie Mercury,
Oh.
and so there were all these just inside jokes about how, like Freddie used to do this, and we would talk about it.
I don't even know how to respond to this. Wait, are you talking
It
about?
sounds crazy, but it's really just fun. It's
Yeah. Well,
really fun to give your dog a backstory.
so are you talking about like how you talk to your dog, like when you use a certain voice?
Yes,
Is
I
that-
would like talk to my wife. We'd be talking
Yeah.
about our dog,
Yeah.
but then also sometimes my wife would be talking to me, like my dog is looking at us. She'd be talking to me as my dog, and I would do
Oh.
the same.
Yeah. Well, like I always vision, because my family dog that we had years ago, when I was younger, I would always talk to him in like a deeper voice because that's how I thought he sounded like. Oh, he buddy, like that. I guess.
Yeah,
Is
I,
that
mean, I
what
think
you
that's how it starts. Is like,
Yeah.
you want them to know that you're talking about them, and so
Uh-huh.
you start with some sort of voice. But then, we're creative people, so it
Yeah.
evolves into this entire elaborate backstory of this dog's life.
And your dog was friends with Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, my dog used to go to the airport all the time because she had like a very shiny lip, and so we would say she'd go to, and there was like a shoe shine station at the airport, so we'd say she'd go to the airport, get her lip shined, and then hang out at the boneyard, which I was just remembering the other day when someone looked up the airport. I'm a freak, I guess. No, I know a lot of people do this, so I don't feel bad. This is.
I mean, I talk to my dogs in different voices, or my dog in different voices, but
I think you should try it. You should
I
start.
should.
You should give your dog. Your dog has lived a very fruitful life. I think you should
yeah. And then my Chihuahua, I used to.
start asking her some questions.
I should. Maybe she should be a guest
what
on the
she's
show,
been up
even though
to.
we don't allow dogs in here, right?
Not cool.
Not cool. I mean, come on. Yeah. Well, I was about to say, so like you used to own dogs. Do you have a dog now?
I don't have a dog now. No. Yeah, we had 2 dogs, Apples and Olive.
Apples and Olive.
They're both on this actually. That's Apples and that's Olive.
Oh, I did not know that. Fun fact.
And that's Roxy.
The blue one?
Talking about, yeah.
You know what's weird? That does look like my dog Roxy with the long ears,
Really? Yeah.
hound looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we travel a lot now, so we don't have any dogs at the moment. But my sister-in-law has like 9 or 10 dogs, so we just borrow them.
Wow. Yeah. How long ago did your dogs?
It was probably 5 years ago now. It's hard to know. COVID really
Just kind of.
wiped out time, but I guess it was probably like right before then, 2018 maybe,
Owning a dog is hard.
6 years ago.
Like, obviously not the fact of owning a dog and taking care of it. I mean, that could be hard too, but obviously because they live such short lives,
Yeah,
15, 16 years, if
Yeah.
you're lucky with them for
yeah,
that
ours
long.
are about 14 and 15, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I recently just saw a study actually. I mean, obviously we all knew this, but they confirmed it on the study. I was just scrolling and they said, oh, losing a dog is literally just as much of an impact on your life as you losing like a loved one and like a
Oh,
family.
yeah.
Yeah,
Especially if you know their backstory.
exactly. I know that's more important.
Especially,
Yeah.
and it also keeps them alive in some ways because we can still have those jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Still talk about every time we see Freddie Mercury, you know we're talking about apples.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wait, you said the bottom one is apples
Yeah,
and then the red one is
Olive.
olive.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. A few family dogs on that.
Yeah. All faceless.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
I've-
needing cigarettes.
Yeah, it was tough. So I recently lost my Chihuahua. She's my screensaver, actually.
Aw.
Yeah, like literally 2 months ago.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
sorry.
Had heart disease,
Bummer.
and she was only 12.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I know, only 12.
Chihuahuas, especially
Yeah.
small dogs, live long usually.
I know, right? Like
12's still pretty good though.
really good, and she could have lived probably another 3, 4, 5 years without the heart disease. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Olive had some heart issues. That's what took her down.
How old?
I think she was just about 15.
Mm,
But she had a murmur and some other stuff that we were worried about for a long time. But
yeah. How did your family in general react to the dogs passing, like both your dogs passing?
not cool.
Yeah.
It was not a good time.
It's
As
not.
my daughter was pretty young, so she was pretty sad, but also didn't totally understand what was happening. But my wife refers to Apples as like her soulmate, so she was pretty especially devastated, even though Apples is actually my dog. But
Yeah. Gosh, no, it's tough though. It really is tough.
yeah, no, it's a bummer. It's very sad.
Yeah.
A lot of dogs, because her family has always had tons of dogs, so many dogs have come and gone, unfortunately. But
Yeah. Yeah. No, when my hound dog Roxy, when she goes, because unfortunately it is probably going to happen sooner than later, because
Yeah.
considering her age, man, that's going to be tough. But
the show got pretty dark.
it kind of did. Yeah. It really did. No, yeah, it did. Talking about aliens and then dogs dying.
Yeah, I don't know how we segued into death, but let's keep going.
Yeah, let's keep going.
digging this hole.
Talking about death, how John Lennon died and all
Yeah.
this stuff. Speaking of that, obviously the most popular at this point now conspiracy theory is Paul McCartney died in
Yeah.
1969.
Yeah, we did an episode on that too, I think.
Yeah. Like, do you believe that?
No.
No.
But it's fun. It's one of those ones where, I don't believe a lot of them, but
Yeah.
they're fun still to
You'll see like the
entertain.
side-by-side pictures of the earlobes of
Yeah,
the
still
young,
pretend, sure.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For fun, I'll believe it, but do I really think so?
No.
No.
I mean, how can you replace Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney I have a love-hate relationship with Paul McCartney, and Unfortunately he's impossible to replace.
You can't.
He's kind of like the worst.
You
It'd be
know,
hard
you
to find
can't.
somebody as annoying as Paul McCartney.
Have you seen Ringo or Paul in concert?
Yeah, I've seen Paul twice and Ringo maybe 2 or 3 times. Took my kid to see both of them, which is cool.
Oh, how did she like it? Your kid?
She liked it. She was pretty young though, so I don't know if
Does she remember?
probably the Paul one a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't asked her in a while.
What's her favorite music or band that she likes to listen
She
to?
likes these 2 brothers. They have a band. There's a band called The Garden, and then they have their own projects too. So Garden and Puzzle and Enjoy. She likes all of those. She likes Mac DeMarco and Pavement.
At what age was she when she like first kind of discovered like your music? Like,
I don't think she's discovered it yet.
wait, really? Yeah, she has to have.
I don't think so. I don't
Really?
think she's really listened to it.
Oh wow. No, so she doesn't
It's
know.
embarrassing.
I mean, obviously she knows you do music though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
She's starting to uncover little things that are. She still plays it cool. Like she's not impressed, but
yeah.
like she loves She loves Jason Schwartzman.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
I was like, I played shows with Jason Schwartzman. She's like, what?
What?
Didn't believe me. And then my wife found the flyer,
Uh-huh.
and I had written on it my initials and Jason, because I also love him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it must be hereditary. Yeah, she was pretty psyched on that.
Wow. She probably looked at you in a
It's
different
hard to
light.
impress her. She's very cool.
She looked at you in a different light after that, probably.
For a second.
for a
Yeah,
second.
or she gets excited when we work with bands that she likes through Hello Merch or that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But
Yeah. And speaking of Hello Merch, I wanted to ask you about that. Very simple question. How's it going with Hello Merch?
it's going great.
Yeah.
Yeah, 16. It'll be 16 years in April.
Yeah. So
long
you run Hello Merch through this building.
Yeah.
that- you purchased this building, right?
Yeah.
5 years ago?
We moved in 5 years ago. Yeah, but it was about 6 years ago.
Okay, yeah. And you did a lot of work. We were talking before we started recording. You did a lot of work,
Yeah.
obviously, leading up to.
Yeah, we worked on it for about a year.
Yeah, for about a year. Yeah.
Maybe a
And
little
describe
longer.
the
and are still working on it, but
Yeah.
just to be able to move in, it took a year.
describe the work that you did to get it going. Like, how tough was that for you?
Well, it's 50,000 square feet,
Uh-huh.
2 blocks long, so it's big.
Uh-huh.
It's 100 years old.
Yeah.
It's not in a great area, so it's just kind of crusty, sort of forgotten about. South downtown Phoenix, old industrial building that some people were in, so it was functional. It just wasn't functional for anything really modern, so we had to essentially gut the whole thing, rebuild everything, replace all the electrical was the biggest part of it.
Yeah. For a big building like that too. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, lots of careful restoration because it's old, and working with a historic district, there's things that you can't do, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do either because I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I love old buildings because Phoenix has a tendency to demolish what little culture it has. So I'm trying to protect that if I can in small
Yeah.
ways. So yeah, it's just an ongoing. We did a lot of work on the outside this year.
Yeah.
So that's the next big project is kind of cleaning up the outside a bit.
And you guys are going to start doing events there too.
Yeah, we opened up the event space again because we had just during the COVID years, it was there. It was just empty space, so we utilized it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And then so you run merch there for bands and artists. People and
Yeah.
on the website, people could buy their merch.
yeah, we do order fulfillment, so we
Yeah.
have a lot. We have like 400 stores or something that we do for bands around the world,
Yeah.
and then we do the screen printing there in house too.
I kind of described it as like an Amazon for bands for merch, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. If that makes sense.
Yeah, better ethics probably.
Yeah, yeah, probably, yeah,
But,
most likely. And
outside
then
of that,
you do screen printing there. So I'm wearing the shorts. Hello. And then screen printing and then you're starting to do events there.
yeah,
Yeah. And for 6 years now, you've been doing it. Yeah.
but doing it, yeah, we've only squeezed in a couple events, but
And you got you got events coming up, right?
yeah, we're just opening it up in February. So we're gonna do kind of kicking it off with 5 events that we're hosting, just like free fun things. So we're doing a vinyl fair thing.
Is that like an outdoor event or indoor?
It's all going to be inside. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
we can fit about 15 to 20 vendors inside the whole front space, and a couple hundred people. So it's a pretty decent sized.
Might have to check it out.
Yeah, come down.
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
Every Saturday in February, there's gonna be something going on there. So
Sweet. Yeah. I'm excited to see like more what you guys do there too, like
thanks.
in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And so real quick, we talked about the Instagram photos. So I'm going to pop some
Okay.
Instagram photos up, and then in post we'll like put it up. Let's see. I'm sure you'll recognize. So the whole point is he's going to try to remember what was going on that day, what's going on in the photo, stuff like that. So I dug down deep and then all the way to recent. So
Scaring me.
yeah, deep all the way to recent.
All right.
I'll even read the caption that you put for some of these posts. You said forever my favorite photo.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Describe. Yeah, there you guys go.
Yeah. So that's my friend Muzz, as
Uh-huh.
he's named himself. He was a friend of mine from Phoenix. I probably have known him since he was probably like 13 or something, 7th grade.
Mhm.
And when he's just been around, he's just always around.
He's just always around.
He's always been around, but definitely in
Yeah.
the early days of the music, he had a record label that put out my very first band's first CD. And then he managed the format and helped get us signed.
Was he around for Never Gonna Score too?
Yeah, so he put out the Never Gonna Score
Oh.
CD.
Oh, okay, cool.
Through his label, which
Yeah.
was called Moose Records.
Gotcha.
And then he managed us for a while. He tour managed us, so he was just always around on the road for off and on for almost the entire time.
How's he doing now?
He's good. He's doing complete like finance stuff, totally different stuff. But
Nice.
But yeah, in that picture, he had that shirt, which is a button-up guitar.
It
and
looked like you were kind of playing.
I used to pretend I was playing it, and it drove him crazy. That he hates that picture, and he's always like, "You love this stupid picture," and I'm like, "I do. It's fun."
It looks like you had a lot of Topo Chicos too.
Yeah, maybe.
According to the picture.
My favorite part about that picture is in the background. You can see Marco, who is in the format, pointing at it.
Yeah,
he was just
underneath it.
loving it as much as I was. So
Oh, it looked like you were really loving it. Yeah, and he's just like chilling there with the.
he's the kind of guy you just like kind of love to make fun of and give him a hard time.
Yeah, and here's the next one, another just random photo. I'll read the caption before showing you. Travel update: someone just shit themselves on my plane. I'll show you first.
Okay, I do actually remember that.
Yeah.
That was a red eye to New York,
Uh-huh.
and I was going to visit my sister, and that was I think maybe the last time I saw her dog Roxy. She left keys to her apartment
Uh-huh.
downstairs with the dude at the door, and I got him, and I went upstairs, and Roxy was just like in the corner on her bed, and I was like, "Hey, Roxy,"
Uh-huh.
and she just didn't hear me or acknowledge me.
Yeah.
I slept for like 3 hours, woke up, and I was like, "All right, well, see you later." Didn't hear me. She was old.
Oh,
Deaf.
yeah. How many? So, like, regarding like plane travels, what's the worst travel story you have regarding flying on a plane?
That one was pretty bad. Actually.
Was that pretty
I
bad?
do remember that pretty well. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like I couldn't. I'm pretty non-confrontational, and
Yeah.
even just like doing what I'm doing in that picture, I feel is an act of.
I know. Yeah, like you're letting it
Like,
know.
I'm
like,
letting
it
somebody know,
smells.
like, dude, and I think there were even a couple verbals like, dude, what? Like, stop. What are you doing? You're
Yeah.
killing me right now. I literally like could not breathe. It was disgusting.
How long were you on that flight for?
I mean, it was like a 4 or 5 hour flight.
Dealing with that for 5 hours.
No, luckily it was just the final descent, but
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
the sun was out. It was looking, there was hope.
There
I
was
was going to get out of there.
another random photo. Your caption just says yesterday under this one, but this was in Kyoto, Japan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that photo.
I remember that. Yeah. I mean, that was on the train, and we just went to Japan actually a few months ago again.
Mhm.
But that was the last time I was there. Probably like 2017 or something.
Was that so? That was just someone random next to you.
Yeah, that was just on the train. We were in Tokyo. We went to Kyoto for a couple days, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of stories you have probably traveling there, right?
I have a lot of stories, just in general, or in Tokyo, or in Japan.
In Japan in general, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fresh on my mind just because we literally just went. I took my sister and my daughter, and yeah, we were there for 10 days. Again,
How often do you
that's
try?
the third time I had been there.
Oh, okay. So you've only been there 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
do
I
you
love it.
do you go there just to like for cultural reasons, just to check it out, or
It's just my favorite place to go.
Oh,
And
okay.
I love it. Yeah,
I've never been there.
you should.
I
try to
should I
go.
should really make that a goal.
Yeah.
Well, probably not a fun fact, probably a sad fact. I've never traveled out of country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't gone too many places either,
Yeah.
which is kind of surprising for how much we traveled
I
on the
know.
road and stuff. But
People are like, "Oh, you need to travel out of country." Like, come on.
yeah, I'm hoping 2 more in the next few years.
You're what?
I'm hoping 2 more.
2 more?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So we'll do like back-to-back photos since they're kind of in the same realm. In this post, your caption says babies, you and Nate. And then we
Yeah.
got,
We look weird there.
I know,
That's why I
and-
said we look very. We don't look. I don't know.
and
who
then
these
in
people
this
are.
one it says happy 20 years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do remember both those two.
Yeah.
The first one is in Bob Hoag's studio, in probably 2001, end of 2001. Kevin Scanlon took the photo. It was our first press photo ever.
Oh, wow. You said you look weird there. You guys look
We
weird?
just look weird. Yeah, we look disheveled, and our faces look. I mean, we look weird.
Well, you were babies then, so yeah.
Yeah, the other one was us sitting on the couch on Capitol Records recording. We went there to this guy Josh Freese, who's an awesome drummer and is now in the Foo Fighters.
Oh, nice.
He's been in Devo and Nine Inch Nails and the Vandals.
You said he took that photo?
Well, no, we were there because he was recording drums for the first single and like 2 other songs.
Oh,
And we were there waiting for him to show up.
Gotcha.
And 2 funny stories from that day. One, we used to smoke then and asked if we could smoke in there because it was Capitol Records, and we were like, the Beatles did, why can't we?
Yeah.
So
Just
we
to fit
did.
in a little, you know?
Yeah, and then we set off the fire alarm,
Oh, shit.
which I didn't think you could even do that. I thought it required heat, but
I guess.
and then the other is like after Josh was done drumming, I was just a huge fan, and I was kind of starstruck a little bit, and I asked if I like kind of went in for a high five, and he denied me and said, I only give out 1 high five a year, and it's not going to you.
Oh,
And
damn.
I was like, ooh, okay.
Wow. All right.
I think he was joking because he's a very go follow him on Instagram. He's a weird dude. I think he just has a weird sense of humor.
weirder than your posts.
Yes, like drastically weirder than my posts. Actually, he has a very strange sense of humor. I love it.
That's funny. I'll have to. Yeah.
I'm hoping he wasn't trying to crush a young kid's spirit. I think he was just trying to be funny.
Yeah.
But
Who are you starstruck by usually?
he was smoking the whole time he was drumming. I don't get I mean, I get starstruck by kind of weird people like that, like session. Like if I met John Bryan, I would be very excited. He's a producer, and I just would be very thrilled to meet him.
Do you ever get nervous? Like if you're starstruck in any way? Like if you
I
meet
get
someone-
nervous because I want, when you meet people like that, you want to tell them how much they mean to you, but
Yeah.
you can't. It's
You really
impossible.
can't. Yeah.
And so you just end up saying something kind of stupid, and then you feel dumb.
Do you believe? Because there's obviously the saying, "Oh, never meet your idols." Do you believe that? Like.
Yeah, I try not to. I would not. It usually doesn't end well. I've met a few people that have not, I wish I hadn't.
Oh, damn. My whole goal was to meet Larry King. And that was my.
Really? Did he die yet? He finally died?
He did.
Like
He did.
25 years old or something?
Yeah. No, when did he pass away? It was like a couple of years ago, actually.
Dang, really?
Yeah, that was I really wanted to meet him because
He's interviewed everybody.
he's interviewed Michael Jackson, he's interviewed Martin Luther King, everybody that you could really think of, presidents.
Yeah.
So like I emulated a lot from him. I grew up like listening to him, watching him on CNN, and I'm like, I want to do what he does because he's very inspiring. Even though he's been through 9 divorces, that's not what I inspired to do, but he's very inspiring nonetheless regarding his career. So
Yeah.
and he married the same wife twice.
So he's married 9 times, but two of those were the same
the same
person.
wife. It's like, how does that happen?
That's cool.
Yeah, it's like you didn't learn the first time.
I'm into that actually.
You didn't learn the first
I
time.
hope it was like a bookend thing, like she was the first and the last.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe
Could-
I'll have
could
to
have
look
been.
that up.
Yeah, could have been. Fun fact though, like I used to submit my questions to his, not the CNN show, but he used to do another show on Aura.tv on his website after CNN, and he would use my questions almost all the time for his guests.
Wow.
Yeah, and he would say, Austin Kelly asks, like he used one for 50 Cent. Always forget his name. Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Alfonso
Ribeiro. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he even complimented my question once. One question for Dennis Miller. He's like, this is a great question. It was like, oh, what's the difference between late night talk shows now compared to 20 years ago? So, and I was like, damn, he just complimented my question. That's,
Wow. Cool.
yeah, that was my moment right there. We got just a couple more, and this is another one of you and Nate at Hello Merch, a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, big one.
That was the first event in the event space at the building. Kind of kicked everything off and then shut everything down too. Right
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, you
It
guys.
was February something 2020, almost about I guess 4 years ago now, almost exactly.
Yeah, because it was funny. You guys invited everyone out thinking, oh, they're just going to watch the DVD version of Live at the Mayan, right?
Yeah, a little bit of a surprise.
A little bit of surprise.
Switcheroo.
And then you and Nate come out, and then you guys start playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah. Describe, by the
about
way,
12
like
years.
describe what that night meant to you, though, since that was your guys' first time playing in front of a crowd like that as the format.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that like?
It was cool. It was nerve-wracking, but then really almost immediately just kind of kicked back because I feel like in a lot of ways the format days don't even seem real to me. Like it happened. It just my life is so different now than it was then. Even though
Oh, and it was a long time ago too.
yeah, I mean, even though I'm still so very present in like the existence of it, you know, like putting out the records and you know, it's part of my life still to some degree, but
Yeah.
my life has just changed so much that it feels like another lifetime ago.
Yeah, you're a family man. You own
Yeah, it's
multiple
just
businesses,
so
I want to
different.
say. Yeah.
and then but it's weird how fast that just it's like muscle memory just kicks right back in. Like
'Cause
even
you-
when I was trying to learn the songs, we did a couple rehearsals. We squeezed in a couple rehearsals before the shows got canceled,
Yeah.
and I'm a better musician than I was
Yeah.
then. So I was over playing things, and I was like, why doesn't this sound right? And then if you just stop thinking about it, your brain just kicks in and
It's like
your
riding a
fingers just
bike.
go in the right place.
Yeah.
So it's weird how that happens. So
Yeah.
it was kind of surreal, but it was especially because we were playing in the building, so it just felt very.
It was
I
like,
don't
because,
It felt good.
yeah, it felt good. And that's where it happened at. It was like your life now, but then your other life kind of came together.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool because it was
Yeah.
like the first show we ever played was at the first venue that I ever worked at, that I spent like my entire, like many hours of my weeks and
Yeah.
years, and so it was just a small acoustic show too. So it was kind of a good little introduction back into that.
Yeah.
What we thought would be a little bit more, but
How does
gotten
it,
there yet?
yeah, how does it feel? It must still seem like crazy to you that you guys still have such like a cult following still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
like
is.
a
I mean,
crazy
we're so
following.
incredibly lucky because that's like kind of the best thing you could ever ask for is that
Yeah.
sort of underground cult thing where the brothers and sisters are passing it down to their younger siblings, and
Yeah.
it just somehow lives on. And Nate, obviously, going on to be, I guess, like a superstar.
Yeah.
You know, in a
Setting
lot
the
of
world on
ways.
fire. Yeah.
That helped,
That
a
helped,
little
yeah.
bit. That definitely helped to keep some stuff out there. We definitely gained a lot of new fans
Mm-hmm.
who discovered his like older fun stuff through the Some Nights
Yeah.
record, and then did a little more digging, and they found format stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I hear that a lot. You know, people will be like, I found this through fun, but I actually really like this old stuff
Yeah.
better. And that's like if you liked Rancid and then found out about Op Ivy or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, you know.
Yeah. Well, and then what's crazy about that though too is I can't remember if you guys did that at Hello Merch before or after. It had to be before you guys announced a reunion tour.
Yeah, we kind of announced it that night.
That
sort
night.
Of. Yeah,
And
the
then it
next
sold
day-
out like within
The next morning, we
The
put
next
everything
morning.
on sale. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I tried to get tickets too, and I forgot what it said on the website. Like, oh, there's like so and so thousands of people in line before you. I'm like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah, that was weird because we didn't expect that at all. And it was I mean, it was exciting for us because the show's just kind of sold out quickly, and
Yeah. I mean, that
but it
just
was
shows
nerve-wracking
you.
because we like wanted people to go.
I know. Yeah.
Wanted
Well,
people to be able to go, and people were getting mad.
and then you guys extended.
Yeah, so we added as much
Thanks.
as we could. So we were going to do 3 shows everywhere, but even that didn't seem to be enough. But we just didn't want to play in a big room because we liked the smaller.
Like the Van Buren and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, we didn't even want to play in the Van Buren. We wanted to play at Crescent, but we lost that.
You didn't want to play at the Marquee.
No, we definitely will never play at the Marquee ever again, and I'm okay with saying that in public.
Do you mind sharing like why? Like what happened?
Just that guy sucks. Tom LaPena sucks.
Oh, okay. Well,
dude just sucks. He's like the worst.
did he like not give you guys your merch sales or what? Like, did he?
Yeah,
Just,
I mean that's part of it. He's just like, I don't know. Dude just sucks.
you know what's
He'll
funny?
probably try to sue me for saying that. Like that's how much
Probably.
that guy
I mean,
sucks.
yeah. Probably won't watch. We'll see.
No, he's probably too out of his brain.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Like, not to say names, Danielle Durack, you know her. She's another local artist. I interviewed her at the Marquee, and I said something. Well, she's like, "How did you like start doing interviews here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I just emailed the owner like a lot of times." I might like be misquoting her, so if she does see this, like, I apologize. But she did kind of say something like, because I mentioned like, yeah, it was a pain in the ass. Like he's kind of, and she's like, "Oh, I could see that." So, yeah.
Yeah,
So I
mean,
think she knows too.
Whatever. He's
Sorry,
fine.
I mean-
he's just like an old dude. You know, he's like a kind of a whatever. I don't care. I actually don't really harbor that much resentment for people usually, but
Yeah.
I just don't go. I don't like the way he treats bands. That's kind of what it comes down, or people. So
I heard
really
rumors
simple as that.
that he might be selling the Marquee. I heard rumors about that.
I think it was gonna. Yeah, I heard something about that too. Like it got. So I think someone bought it. They're going to be building something there eventually, but it just keeps getting pushed out.
Yeah, because my friend Malachi used to work there, and I think he doesn't work there now. He moved to LA, but like he still is communication with someone that works there, and I think he heard something like, "Oh, Tom's selling it, whatever." And who knows when that's going to happen though? Like when the new ownership will take place. But
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see. Well, anyways,
we have much better venues in this town now. So
Exactly.
who cares?
the Nile is probably one of my favorite venues.
Yeah, that's where I that's the venue that I worked at. I worked there for years, and I haven't been back since.
But you love it. You love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, you love it. One last photo, just you and your family in Japan again. In Japan recently. Very
Yeah,
recent.
that's on the recent trip. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's I forget the name of that place, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
So
What were you guys
a
doing
hike.
in that picture?
We were avoiding the rain.
Avoiding the rain. Where was that at? Like in Japan? Where was that at?
That was in Kyoto too, I think.
But like
actually.
the location,
I
like
can't remember the name of that place, but it's a hike.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a crazy hike with all these little orange. I'm terrible. I don't remember. I can't remember what it's called.
yeah, okay, yeah. What?
My wife will be watching this and just be like, "It's called blah blah blah, idiot."
Like she
You were
knows.
just there, yeah.
Yeah,
I have this
that,
thing where I don't pay attention to things,
yeah.
to details. I try to.
That's me with driving. I am horrible. I can't. I'm directionally challenged.
I
when
just
it
like
comes to driving.
experiencing the things and not the details.
Oh yeah, no, like when it comes to driving, so like if you ask someone like, oh, where's this place at? They'll say, oh, north of this, west of that. I'm like,
You're like, is that by a mountain?
I don't, yeah, where is that by? Like, is it by like a Target? Just tell me where it's at, where it's next, and I'll know how to get there.
I've lived in Phoenix my whole life, and I'm pretty bad at that too, especially
It's
at
horrible.
night.
Yeah, I know. I lived in
I
Arizona
do
too.
depend on landmarks.
Yeah, I've lived in Arizona my whole life too, and I still need Apple Maps to like get to where I need to go.
Yeah, and I also don't leave my bubble very often.
Yeah.
So
How many times I've drove here, Martin, I still had to use Apple Maps to get here. Speaking of your family, I'll even credit Lauren with this question a little bit. What has your family taught you throughout your life, like your daughter and even your wife? What have they taught you over the course of your life? What are some of the things you've learned from them?
patience, for sure. Man, this is a deep question, but yeah, I mean, I would just say patience probably most importantly, because I've been married. It'll be 20 years this year, actually, which is kind of crazy.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah. So to be able to do that, you have to be patient with each other.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
when you introduce a crazy element into it, like a child who's now 14, and all the different stages that comes with that, it's kind of crazy and hard to manage. So
What has it been like watching her grow up?
it's been amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, every single stage of a childhood is like so totally different, and they're completely, it's hard to explain, but they're like the same, but also so different every stage. Like
Yeah.
when I look back at her, we found a video the other day of at the hospital when she was born, and she was crying, and I was like, it's so funny because now we actually know her.
Yeah.
So you could see her personality even in just the way she was crying.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, what is this thing? Like, what is this person that we now have to take care of?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a constant. You can see all the different stages, and that personality just starts to develop into something else.
Well, then at her age now, like she's still trying to figure out who she is and like her likes, dislikes.
yeah,
a
she's
lot.
so talented, and
Yeah.
she can draw, she can play music, she can do everything. So that's the hard part for me now, is just wanting to let her just do her whatever, find her
Yeah.
path. Because I know that was the most important time for me, 14 to 18. Is a very kind of like, I know I want to do something, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't want to go get a job
Normal.
somewhere and lose my idea here, but
Yeah.
so I'm just going to support her in whatever she wants to do, and hopefully
There you go.
she finds it.
That's all you can do. I mean, when you were that age too, did you always, when you were like around that same age in your teen years, was music always an option for you? Like, was that your number one goal?
Yeah, I started playing guitar when I was 10. Probably started taking it really seriously when I was 14, right around her age. It's when the Blue album came out from Weezer. That was when I started realizing. I started making a website for them when I was 14.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And I got to see a little bit how the music business worked through these two girls that were running their fan club. And that was really intriguing to me. So I started thinking about it then. And then I would say probably when I was 16 is when it really took off, because I got a car. We started going to shows constantly at the Nile, and
Yeah.
all the other, there were so many cool venues in the east side of town back
Yeah.
then.
And you were just like learning your style too at that time, learning your sound,
Yeah,
learning,
and
like what you wanted.
discovering music,
Discovering music.
getting really into like pop punk bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they were playing it, they were just the most accessible. So you could see them at 10 people and in the Nile basement and stuff like that.
Yeah. You met Nate in high school, right?
Yeah, I met Nate at a Weezer show
Oh.
in '96 on the Pinkerton tour. He was a big Weezer dork, and I was too. And he found out that I was doing their website, and so he accosted me at the show and was like, "You got to tell me about what you know about this band." And then he had just sort of assembled the early stages of what became the worst band in history, Never Gonna Score.
You're gonna score. Yeah.
And he found out I played guitar, so I just joined right after that.
There you go. And then C'est la vie, c'est la va, c'est la vue. The format came to fruition.
Yep. Yeah, we went through a couple bands, and then
Yeah.
we ended up there.
And there you go.
And now
the
here
rest
we
is
are.
history.
And now he's him and I'm me.
How's he doing, by the way, real quick? Like
He's doing great. I just saw him actually.
in New York, right?
No, he doesn't live in New York anymore.
Oh, okay.
No, but I just ran into him and hung out. Yeah, he's doing good.
Nice. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Keep those vocals warm, Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's talented, that's for sure.
Yeah. Before we bring Lauren on for her segment, just in case, another question regarding Nate. What's it like working with him being such an amazing songwriter?
It's awesome. I mean, it's
Yeah.
always been great. I actually I've yet to find another songwriting partner like him, or one that I even
It's like alien-like.
Like to work
It's
with.
worldly or unworldly.
Yeah, it's like a serendipitous type thing. It's like
Yeah.
a weird thing that happens where you find a person. I mean, it's like a marriage. It's like any partnership, a marriage, a business partner,
Yeah.
a musical partner. You have to have this. You got to have this thing. It's just hard. It's just there. It's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not anything you can force. It's like this weird magic that just exists.
What would you call it? Like his voice, like a tenor, right? Like how he's able to sing high pitch.
Yeah, he's got a very big range.
Big range, yeah.
And he has a very unique tone, which is I think that's what has really set him apart from everybody else. And I'm happy that he embraced it, because in the early days, I think when we were kids, people used to kind of, I don't want to say make fun of it, but it definitely was different. And if you listen to some of those songs, you can tell he's trying to like bring in this like deeper. It just sounds
Yeah.
dumb.
Well, and then he honed into who he
Yeah,
really
then
was.
he really found his voice. But
Yeah.
you have to go through that to find who you are.
Well, especially when you're
artistically.
in your younger years like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're emulating things. We were listening to, like, Blink 182 and NoFX or whatever, and the Beatles and
Yeah.
John Cougar Mellencamp and anything,
John
just
Cougar
everything.
Yeah.
All over. That's one of the things we bonded on a lot, was just our very wide spectrum of music taste.
That's awesome. And then you guys came together like peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly.
Yeah. We are here with the classy Lauren Case, one of my favorite female local artists here in Arizona for, Arizona. This is her segment called Just in Case. Just in case I missed anything. Or
Just in case he didn't
just in
cover all
case I
the
missed anything.
bases.
Yeah, just in
I'm
case,
Lauren
yeah.
Case, and I'm
Lauren
here
Case.
with Sam Means now. Super excited to
Yeah.
ask him some questions. Grew up listening to the format, didn't dive deep into the discography, but I loved how you said older siblings passing the music down to their little siblings. That's exactly what happened to me.
Oh, cool.
My brother, he was like skateboarding, cool
Yeah.
older brother who would throw on Tune Out or the first single. And speaking of Tune Out, I have to share this story with you. So in the second verse, there's that line, "We've been caught in these sheets way too long." And I think when I first heard that song, I was probably like 6 or 7, and I didn't know that he was saying these sheets. I thought he was saying niches. So we've been caught in niches way too long, and
That's
I
funny.
was like, what is a niche? I don't think that's the lyric. I've never heard of a niche, so it's probably not that, but I just continued to hear it as niches, and every time I would hear it,
Now
I
I'm
just
only
would,
going to hear it as that.
I will forever hear it that way. I just picture like a creature when I hear that, like, it's a niche.
It's a little niche.
So I felt like you should have that information.
Yes, thank you. No, there's many. I can't think of one right now, but there are many songs like that where I've been singing them wrong forever. I get corrected often,
Yeah,
and
it's
I'm like,
just
whatever.
gonna-
I'm gonna keep singing it wrong.
Stay that way forever.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you one quick question about the format before I transition into asking you about your music, your solo project.
Okay.
In the band, the format, beyond your roles in the band instrumentally and your contributions to the songs, what would you say some of your roles were just in the band? For example, you were the peacemaker, or you'd be the one going out and interacting with the fans.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was definitely the business dude. I was also the peacemaker. We had a weird dynamic because it was Nate and I, and then we had a pretty consistent lineup of touring musicians too that we play with, that we think of as being in the band, but they were sort of like, we didn't want it to be this way. It's just inherently what happens is you kind of have like me and him and then them, so I was also often the bridge from, or the voice from this entity to this entity without, while also being in one of them and both of them at the same time. So that was
Yeah.
not a dynamic I really loved, actually. I kind of didn't like doing that, but I had to be that. Yeah, I would say one of the more responsible ones, probably.
And do you think if you had been in a band with somebody who was even more responsible than you, that it would have been fun and enjoyable for you to kind of...
I don't think it would have worked. We probably would have clashed.
Really?
You need sort of that person who doesn't want to be responsible for anything
Yeah.
to give you that room to be the responsible person. As much as I would think I wouldn't want to be that person, I just always very naturally fell into it.
Okay. I'm sure that makes you a good dad, a good husband.
I hope.
Those
I hope so. I
qualities.
think so. I try to be. Yeah. I mean, of course. I try
Yeah.
to Yes.
The answer is
Try to
yes.
be. The answer is yes. I'm doing my best.
Awesome. I was listening to your music past few days, and especially on the way here. And first of all, I really like it. It's definitely up my alley. I feel like this might be an interesting way to describe how your music makes me feel, but I feel like when I'm listening to it, I've been transported into like a children's picture book. But if like A24 made a children's picture book,
I like
it's
that.
like
That's cool.
colorful and happy, but also like indie, unique, cool.
Like that.
I really like it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's got some darkness behind it, I guess. Maybe that's like it's funny you say that because the song "Snails" on that album on Dog Problems was meant to be a straight up children's song. That was the idea,
Really?
and so it was supposed to feel we were gonna have kids at the end doing like a chant, and then but the lyrics are about someone dying on a mountain. So it's like,
On a what now?
on a mountain, witnessing someone falling to their death off of a cliff.
Oh,
So it's weird because it's there, but you don't really notice it unless you really pay attention.
wow.
But-
Note to self, I will be listening to that.
Yeah,
Is it apparent that that's what it's about?
kind of.
Now that I know?
Yeah, kind of. If you now that you know, you'll catch on. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I can't wait.
There's some other
Um,
stuff in there too, but that's the gist.
Easter eggs, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. So, in the realm of music, when do you feel the most competent? What are you best at? Where do you shine the most?
I would say structuring a song is really the thing I really am best at. I'm not a very proficient musician. Like I'm not really good. I'm good at doing my stuff. I'm not like if you wanted to jam and be like, hey, let's play a Led Zeppelin song. I'd be like, no, it's not happening. I that's like the most stressful situation for me when people are just like picking stuff up in a room. I'm like, okay. Or
Really?
if I would get like a dumb but also the best example, like get one of my keyboards fixed or something, and then the guy would be like, try it out, and then you're like on the spot, and they're expecting you to just like play some crazy,
Like some Billy Joel stuff.
yeah, like play Maple Leaf Rag on that thing real quick. Let's hear how it sounds. It's like I could play Tune Out, that's cool, but like I taught myself how to play, so I can just play what I play, and I'm good at it if it's my thing, and I can play other songs too, obviously, but
Yeah.
I just have people have different brains in music. I was just explaining this to my daughter the other day because she started playing a Tears for Fears song on this little keyboard I got her. And I was like, I'm so happy that you can figure that out by ear because a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
It's really tough. Even people that are very, like classically trained people kind of need sheet music. They rely on it. And sometimes people's brains work that way or both ways sometimes.
If you're blessed.
She's kind of both because she learned how to read music through piano, but then can also can pick stuff out by ear. But
She sounds awesome. She
She's
sounds like
very
she's
awesome.
not just your daughter, but your friend.
yeah, she is. She's very cool, and I'm excited to see where her life takes her. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I've met so many musicians and stuff over the years. You just see how different people are, and everyone's unique in their own way. And, I love that. I don't know. I love when people are kind of held back by their own ability to do one particular thing in music, and that's what makes what they do so special
Wow.
or unique, I guess.
Yeah. Very well said.
Like if I'm trying to I've said this a million times, if I'm like trying to rip off a Beatles song very specifically, it's not going to sound like a Beatles song. It's going to sound like me doing me, but
Yeah.
inspired. Like maybe you'll be able to pick out some sounds and stuff, or you'll know that it's inspired by, but it'll be, I'm not John Lennon. I can't do that. I just can't do that. So, that's what's cool about music. Cause everything's kind of derivative of everything after a long enough period of time, but, it's still unique because people are still so unique in their ability.
Like you when you did a cover of Hey Jude, it sounded like you. It didn't necessarily sound like, oh, you're doing a cover of Hey Jude.
Yeah.
When I watched you perform that live this month,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it literally looked like you. doing your thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It would probably sound like a train wreck if I tried to sound like them with my voice and my style.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate that answer, that thorough answer, and I agree. It's like those are your limitations, but they are what create your unique sound. I think that's really
Yeah, you could look
interesting.
at them in limitations, but they're really not. They're just like your toolkit.
Yeah.
really.
That's awesome. Pardon me while I get organized.
Have you ever covered a Beatles song live or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The format covered a couple Beatles songs. We did the Ballad of John and Yoko. We did Across the Universe.
Nice.
We did. I don't know. I feel like we did more.
Have you seen Across the Universe?
I have.
Do you like it?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Probably in my, I would say top 15 movies. No higher than that. But
I'm still waiting for like a really good Beatles like biopic movie. This has not happened yet, but
do you have that kind of power in your career to like
to see that happen.
talk to the right person and convince
No, but I
them
did.
to
I did
do
hear
that?
once that P.T. Anderson was going to do one, and I think it fell apart. But that would have been that's like ideal.
Who's that?
He did like Magnolia and Punch Drunk Love and Boogie Nights and those movies. I don't know, weird, crazy movies.
Okay.
Sounds like you guys have not heard of them.
Yeah, my eyes
But
are glazing over, but
They're incredible movies. I mean, go watch Punch Drunk Love. You'll love it.
okay.
So it was actually Adam Sandler's first serious movie. He just did.
Was it
whatever,
Uncut Gems?
Licorice Pizza? No, it wasn't Uncut Gems, but it's what basically enabled Adam Sandler to do Uncut Gems, is to be able to do a movie like that.
All right, so my question for you, how do you tune out the bad vibes in your life? How do you unwind? How do you raise your vibration, if you will? What are some things you do?
Usually, my best reset is to go to New York and just walk around the city. That's how. That's exactly how. If I haven't been there in a while, I can feel it. I know it. I walk a lot. I walk every day now anyway, so I probably don't need it as much. But I think just walking is really.
Relaxing or inspiring or both? I would imagine walking around in New York might not be my idea of relaxation, but is that what it is for you?
It's everything. Yeah, it's like a good reset because it's so chaotic, but so isolating at the same time because you're in this crazy place, but no one's paying attention to you at all. So you just don't. You're just existing, but you also don't exist, kind of.
Yeah.
And then you're walking through Rockefeller Center, the height of tourism, and then 10 minutes later you're in Central Park and it's dead quiet and there's nature all around you, and then you loop around and now you're on the water and you're just looking at this beautiful scenery and bridges and stuff. So it's just it's a lot to take in you could walk in 4 hours, you could see a lot of different things in New York and have a lot of different emotions go through your brain. So you can kind of take care of everything you need to in just a really long walk in New York.
Nice. I haven't been, but I would absolutely love to. What makes your music, Sam Means Music, different than the format music?
I just don't have Nate. So the voice, I think, is the biggest part of it. I feel like in a lot of ways I'm still writing stuff for him, kind of like with his voice in my head, because just that I'm so wired to do that. So that's it for me. I mean, when I hear any song I've done, I always wish that he was singing it instead of me, but.
And not you.
Yeah, I don't like to sing. I don't like my voice. No one really does usually. That's a pretty common thing. Singers are just like, I sound stupid.
Well,
but
you can stand alone.
I can get through it, but I'm still like terrified to perform live or anything because I like to be I can get the job done, but in my own very controlled way without anybody looking at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you. Thank you for
Cool.
answering
For
a
your
couple of my
segment.
questions.
Well, you
Just
can stay
in
on
case.
towards the end. Yeah.
I'll hang out.
You'll hang out until
out.
the end. We're almost out of time. But are you a hermit, right? Like you don't like going out in public a lot, or?
I wouldn't say a hermit. I do. I just don't. I don't like like I think I said I don't like leaving my bubble, but it's just I like Central Phoenix, and so if stuff is happening in Central Phoenix, I'll go. If it's something like there's a cool show at Van Buren or Crescent, or you know, I don't know, people are hanging out in my area, I will go. But if someone's like, hey, do you want to go hang out in like East Gilbert, I'd be like, no.
No.
Not really.
Yeah,
Not
who
really.
would live there?
Yeah, right.
No,
Yeah.
it's cool out there. I just I have no attachment to that
Yeah.
area. I grew up on the west side of town,
Yeah.
and then I spent so much time on the east side when I was younger and going to shows and living out there and working out there. I just like being down here.
Any great hidden gems in Phoenix, hole-in-the-wall restaurants that the public should know about or not know about so they stay your spots?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hole in the wall, I guess probably the closest to would be like El Norteño on 7th Avenue and Roosevelt.
Is it
What is
Mexican?
El Norteño.
Is it Mexican
little
food?
Mexican
Norteño?
food place. They have a patio that you can kind of
Yeah.
eat at, but it's mostly like a walk-up place, like a window kind of a deal. Very good.
I love hole in the wall Mexican food places.
Me
So
too.
good.
Yeah, my favorite one is on 7th Avenue in Osborne.
Is Mexican food your favorite?
Yeah, I pretty much eat Mexican food every day.
Every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thai food?
I do like Thai food, although until sort of recently, my family has not been open to Thai food, but they're expanding their food horizons.
I just love food in general, though. I love food so much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too. I like
Yeah.
burritos. I'm a bean and cheese burrito guy.
Have you had the Crescent Ballroom burritos before?
It's my.
I mean, you have to.
one of my favorites. I had it on Saturday.
On Saturday.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
Their green sauce is my favorite.
Have you ever had their Hawaiian dog? It's actually pretty good too.
No.
Their Hawaiian dog. I'm like the weird guy sometimes where if I'm in general, like at a Mexican food place, I'll order the hamburger sometimes. I'm
You're
like
that
one of
guy?
those guys.
You're the hamburger
sometimes.
guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like if you're going to a restaurant and they're known specifically for like a type of food or like a type of whatever, I'll get the opposite of that because like, oh, that looks good.
Like you just want to be contrarian or
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. Like I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of who I
Want to
am.
stir things up?
Stir things up a bit, I guess.
Just
Yeah.
want to bum out the kitchen.
Yeah. Like who's ordering a hamburger at this?
Hey, they put it on the menu, so
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
where's this bottle opener at? So I can
Oh yeah.
join
Oh
you
yeah.
guys.
You got to join real
Yeah.
quick.
Topo life.
Yeah,
I'm
pop
not
in
that
here.
strong.
Hop
You
in
got to
here.
join real quick before. Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we end this
Too late.
soon. Before it's too late. You'll never come back from this. Yeah. Oh,
Oh no.
it's
That's
water.
That's the best part about it. It's water.
It's water. Yeah. It won't stain.
Love.
I've
Imagine
done
if it
that
was
many times. My favorite move with Topo, especially when I'm in New York, because it's like pretty limited access to ice, and then we have a small place, so a small refrigerator, not a lot of room. So my Topo Chico supply is not always cool.
Yeah.
So I'll open it and then I'll put it in the freezer. You got to keep a good eye on it, but you have to open it or else it'll just explode. But
Oh shit.
if you open it until you start to see it kind of like rise out of the top of the bottle,
Oh yeah.
it's pretty good. You should try it. Take one of these home, and
I will. And whatever's left, you could take home too. Whatever's left. Yeah, as if
I feel like you need to
Enjoy it?
experience more of this. Yeah.
and you could take
I
a
don't
couple.
think
too.
I processed what you just said about keeping it in the freezer. Like,
Oh, so
I
you,
might have to watch
you got to
this
let it
podcast
kind of
back.
like half freeze,
Oh.
like just enough that it starts to rise out of the top of the bottle, and then you got to take it out. Yeah, because
As it's
it.
expanding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really hits the spot.
Yeah, it's just cool because
Carbonated
it's
ice?
it's cold, but it's
Carbonated
not
ice.
like ice. It's not frozen. It's just delicious.
Sounds pretty good. I'll have
Good
to
in
try
the
it.
summer.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's really. I mean, I haven't tried it yet in the summer, but you know what? I'll
Yeah,
try it.
you'll get there.
Dry
Yeah, I'll
heat.
get there. Yeah. And then maybe if I'm feeling really freaky, I'll do the alcohol version of Topo Chico.
Yeah.
I got to work my way up. Baby steps. Baby
Those
steps.
Yeah.
are bomb.
Have you?
Oh yes.
I'm the
See,
only
those
one
are a little
Get
too.
on that
Those are a little
Topo
too sweet
life.
for me.
Oh shit.
I've only tried them. I only tried one once ever, but
Yeah.
it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, baby steps for me first, and then if I'm feeling freaky one day, I mean, because I kind of like simmered down on the drinking, so I mean, yeah. So
I did have a little bit with some tequila the other day, and it was good.
Oh,
My
wow.
friend made me that with made a little mixture. It was good.
Little
Oh, wow.
lime in there.
A little lime, a little salt on the. It was kind of like a
like a margarita, maybe.
sort of, but a very mellow.
Like a ranch water kind of vibe.
Kind of, yeah.
little bit?
Ranch
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I don't know what it is, but now that makes a lot of sense. That is probably what that is, right? Yeah.
Plus agave, I think, is
Yeah.
that other component.
Yeah.
Yeah, agave. What kind of coffee did you bring?
Valentine Phoenix. Have you been there?
I have. I think before it was Valentine. Is that the
Oh.
one on Van Buren?
7th Avenue.
Oh no, Valentine by the Modern Manor. In the
Maybe
Modern
it's
Manor.
like by the Melrose.
Yeah.
Wherever. I'm not super familiar
Yeah,
with that
there's like a
area.
mid-century modern furniture store.
Okay.
In the back.
Okay.
That our friend works at.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been there.
Really
I've been
cool
there a couple
place.
times. Yeah.
I got a dirty chai. It's so amazing. I've just been like dreaming of getting back to it. Not that I'm not having a great time.
I mean, for my coffee was just a little cheap Sour coffee this morning. So,
$1.
hazelnut with half and half in it.
Yeah, I'm due for coffee after this. I spilled mine yesterday
Yeah.
and haven't had one since. So
Yeah. So real quick before we end this, Sam, couple things. What's the one thing you could say for an up and coming business owner of some sorts? People wanting to start their own business. Advice.
well, I mean, I encourage it.
Yeah.
It's
Seems how you've delved deep into a lot of your own businesses. So
yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I mean, depending on what your resources are. I mean, like the format got dropped. We put out Dog Problems ourselves. It turned out it was a very good decision. We made a few bucks on it. We like recouped it, which is like unheard of usually for an album.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just really smart and saved money, not really knowing what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And led a very, like I was never home, so my needs were very little. So I just when I started Hello, I was able to kind of make some mistakes and not really have to. I didn't have to make money right away.
Well, that's
it wasn't very long, but it's like that was I sort of bootstrapped myself with what I had left.
Yeah.
In residuals. And it was still really, really, really hard. I mean, it took about 5 years and a lot of struggling to get it to work.
Well, that's the hard part is the struggling and the mistakes that will come along with.
Yeah, and I do
having
things
your-
all the time right now where I just tried to do for 2 years a merch coalition, and it just didn't work. And sometimes you have to know when to stop.
Yeah. Know your limits.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. That's the patience comes in there too. You have to have patience. You have to be prepared to fail. Have to be comfortable with taking risks. I'm really cool with failure. I have actually zero problem with it.
Oh, I love it
at
too.
all. It's like the most exciting part about living.
I love it.
is being able to fail and start over if you need to. So if you can get in that mindset,
That's life.
it will be very helpful because you can just do a lot of really dumb stuff without.
I think that's a large part of the problem is like people are afraid to fail, and it's like, oh, they'll probably critique themselves or they'll be worried about like what others will think of them if they fail. And it's like,
yeah, big time.
especially the people when they think, oh, what will others think of me if I'm like in this situation in life, or if I failed on this project, or if I failed whatever, it may be. I think that's a huge part. It's like ignore the noise. Just keep doing you. Learn from your failure and just keep moving forward. Never move backwards. Follow your nose.
Yeah, I think people's identities a lot get attached to their whatever it is they're working on. So it becomes like a thing where you think if this thing fails, then that means I've failed, which is not the case at all. Because a lot of times it's just like the wrong time. I've done things that have been the right time and they've worked, and then a couple years later it wasn't the right time anymore and it stopped working, and it's just had nothing to do with me or anything I did. It just was timing,
Yeah.
So if you have a good idea and you're passionate about it, if you just stick with it, it'll work out. Because you can eventually it's like merging onto a freeway or something, like eventually you'll get in with the flow of whatever is
Flow of
the
traffic.
rest of the world wants, and you will be successful to some degree.
Flow of traffic. Yeah. I think
I would say that everyone has there's like a wave of opportunity, and like a lot of times people are just afraid to reach out and take it,
Love
Yeah.
a good analogy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 100% accurate because not everybody has the same.
Are you an analogy
opportunity,
gal?
I love analogies.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
boyfriend, the way you talk actually kind of reminds me of him. He's just very well-spoken, articulate, but also funny with his responses, and he's great
The
at
sexy
analogies.
Austin
and
Jones.
he's a musician as well, so
Yeah.
he's always giving me music analogies. I'm like, you just thought of that right now? That
Yeah.
would take me a week to
The
figure
thing
out.
about- yeah.
That's funny.
Super talented boyfriend of yours too. And his
Oh,
name's Austin as well. So
Shout out us.
yeah.
Yeah. He's making music in town too.
He's in LA. He's a producer.
Who has he worked with?
Doing that full time. Well, he's living with one of the bands he works with a lot. They're called Belaganas. But anywho, super talented guy.
Cool.
Yeah, and also a fan of the format.
Awesome.
Who's he worked with previously though? I know he's helped produce songs for other artists, right?
He's worked a little with Catastro.
Catastro.
Heard of Catastro.
Yeah, I've heard of Catastro, yeah.
And a little bit with The Main.
The Main. You've heard of The Main, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Used to work with both those bands actually, the 8123 crowd
Nice.
Yeah. for years.
Talented Austin, sexy and talented Austin Parker Jones.
I'm
we-
throw the sexy in there.
Yeah, I know, as always. We're over the limit, aren't we? Yeah.
The limit does not
how
exist.
far how
Now we're in 26
oh,
minutes.
there you go. One last question, Sam.
We're over the limit. Let's
Now,
keep
one
going.
last-
One last question. I mean, maybe two last questions. Two last questions, sorry. Two last questions.
Let's just round it out to 2 hours.
Round it out to 2 hours, another 30 minutes. Yeah. What can you say? What can you say to all the fans of the format that still listen to your guys' music? Like, what do you say to them for just being loyal, even though you guys haven't made new music like in the last 15 years?
I mean, I don't even know what to say besides thank you.
Yeah.
Just so appreciative of it. It's cool to be in that. I don't want to put us in a basket of. I guess I'll just say it like this. When I was growing up, and even now, there were bands that were in this sort of category for me, like a Neutral Milk Hotel or bands that just sort of broke up before your time. You didn't get to see them. And I think we've become that for a lot of people, which sucks because we want to play for people again, at some point. But it's also kind of a cool spot, like to be the weird, obscure band that only some people have heard of.
Yeah.
I like it there. I'm very comfortable being there. So
Yeah.
thanks to everybody for keeping us in that category, because it's very it's a nice spot. It's relaxing.
Yeah. Any
Not a lot of pressure.
Yeah. No pressure.
no pressure at
Yeah.
all.
Can see that.
Yeah.
You say you want to play again. Any plans of that happening with the format?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen. We're gonna reschedule these shows. But it's like
You heard it here first. It's going to happen.
Yeah,
people.
that's gonna happen. We're just so busy, and like things. When we scheduled that shows, I mean, we'd been talking about doing that for years leading up to that. Like, and just everything aligned perfectly that we were gonna do them in 2020, and then didn't. So we just have to get back to that spot where we're both able, because it's a big. I don't know. Maybe people don't think about it, but we're not an active band. So
Yeah, no.
to get everything together, even just like gear and stuff, it's not easy.
And you guys live different places.
Everyone
too.
lives somewhere else, and we don't
Yeah.
have any, like, we're playing big shows, but we don't have like a sound, like at that level, people usually have like a production crew. Like when we were touring, we had 12 people. And so you kind of have to reassemble all these people just for like a week. It's not-
Reassemble the Avengers.
yeah, it's very
One
hard
last
to
battle.
do.
One
Yeah,
last
so
battle.
things have to line up,
Yeah.
Timing has to be right.
And you're just waiting for that right. You guys are waiting for that like right moment.
Yeah, we're just waiting to where like I don't have anything too crazy going on. Nate doesn't have anything too crazy going on. The other guys in the band are also. I mean, yeah, like
Yeah.
everybody has. I think everybody now has kids and a life and jobs and things.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to organize it.
Especially plan out a time period where everyone will be free for like what, maybe a month, 2 months.
It's about a month commit. I mean, just to do like those 9 shows we were going to do, it was about a month.
Yeah.
Of like, you really can't work for a month.
Exactly.
It's hard to, it's expensive too. Like figuring out how to get plane tickets, and I don't know. It's a lot. It's a big deal. So we're going to do it. It just took a lot of time to orchestrate that the first time around. and then to
And
reschedule
everything-
it
yeah, and then everything
3
got
times.
messed up.
And so we had to eventually just cut the cord on that one, and we'll have to just start over. But we'll get there. I mean, Dog Problems turns 20 in 2 years.
In 2 years, yeah. I think, yeah. It was
So we got to do it
2000
before that.
2006, I think.
Yeah.
I'll be there. Well, if I get online in time before thousands of people are before me, I should be there.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be
Hopefully,
there, yeah.
hopefully it won't be like that this time around.
Yeah, we'll see.
Accommodate more people.
Well, any last words, Lauren? Any last words, Sam? Maybe we could all say last words together. I don't know.
All at the same time so no one can understand what we're saying.
Okay.
Okay, so whatever you're thinking, whatever I'm thinking, I guess. I got to think about what I'm going to say.
I'll just go ahead and say.
Wait, should we count down?
No, no.
What?
Topo Chico for life.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Thanks for the topo. I needed that, but now I need a coffee, so I gotta get out of here.
Topo Chico for life and aliens are real. We are aliens.
Yeah.
We are aliens. Well, thank you,
Amen.
Sam.
Thank you.
for coming on. You're
For real.
amazing. Pleasure to talk to. And this was the Austin Kelly Show, featuring a little bit of Lauren Kay. So there you go. There we go.